examples, plenty of examples that show that government involvement in industries and companies always fails, because none of this will be run in a strictly private and business sense. So I think what government should do is to provide an environment that is enabling enough for the private sector to get involved and establish those same things that this government is doing. So I find the present policy unsustainable in the long term, and I think that we're going to look at the projects one by one. We're talking about the garment factory. You heard my comments about the garment factory. That first we need to come clean about or on the garment factory, right? First, about the true ownership. Second, about how much money was actually spent to build the garment factory. And thirdly, after 2 or more years, what has come in terms of return on investment on the garment factory. All that is going to determine what my government decides to do about the garment factory and most other industries, as they've been called. Tourism is not just going to be based on the Calabar Carnival alone. The Calabar Carnival has come to stay, and therefore what we're going to do is to get it back to its fine points, right? But it's to also look at the business aspect of the carnival, right? We're going to be able to understand how much on a yearly basis that government spends doing Calabar Carnival, and see whether there is a way to market it in such a manner that it can be sustaining on its own. So the government will by no means stop the Calabar Carnival from happening. What it will do is to further improve it and make it more enabling, right? And make it more attractive, and try to respond to the complaints that you've mentioned that have continued to attend each of the last 2 or so editions. But like I said, we're not going to, get all our tourism to just be, to proceed on just the Calabar Carnival alone. It could take place once in a year, right? We've already done a study as a campaign organization that has identified about 60 tourist sites, which we are going to categorize into various categories, 1, 2, 3. Tourism across the world proceeds based on what? On events, on sites, on things, on the history of a people. And I think as a state, we've got a rich history. Therefore, you mentioned tourism. Every administration talks about tourism because we are competitive in that sector. So because of the kind of tourism revolution that I believe that is going to come ahead of us, that's why I've also, as part of my blueprint, there's a plan to build an international school of hospitality and tourism, because we need to train the required manpower, then get the state really to compete well in that sector and get it to the next level. Close to former governors. I'm close to Leon Imoke, I'm close to Donald Duke, and I worked with both of them. And I think that for anybody who aspires to be the next governor of Cross River, that such relationships come in as a credit, come in as assets, come in as things that should. These are 2 people who have governed the state for 8 years each, right? And I don't think, for example, that the kind of situation we have today, we had it when they both at different times governed the state, right? So there's a lot to benefit from them. The question as to whether, the immediate past governor is sponsoring me, I don't think it's a question I should respond to, because it is silly. It is silly. You've already said he's in the PDP, I'm in the APC. I left for the APC in spite of him. Right? Those who expect me to quarrel with him will not get it their way, because I won't quarrel with him. Just like I'm not going to quarrel with Governor Donald Duke.